Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a problem that I personally have with Ninjago Dragons Rising so far, and even more so with the reveal of the January 2024 sets. And that, of course, is the fact that LEGO has not yet made Cole's Golem form from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 1, which, in my opinion, was one of the best new additions to the entirety of Ninjago following the start of Dragons Rising. Unfortunately, LEGO has not yet made a set of this thing. We do have an Elemental Earth mech coming out in the January 2024 wave, but it looks nothing like Cole's Golem form. So I decided to set out and try to make my own using spare parts that I had in my collection. And this is what I came up with for my own version of Cole's Golem form from Ninjago Dragons Rising, and it's not perfect, but it's definitely, close enough, I'd say. I'm pretty happy with the design, all things considered. This took me a few days to build, and I used parts from a lot of different Cole-themed sets to make this one right here. More specifically, the Earth Dragon Evo set from Ninjago Core. That's where these sticker pieces come from. They're not prints, they're stickers. Those come from the Earth Dragon Evo set from Core. I also used parts from the Thunder Raider set, as well as the Boulder Blaster, both from Ninjago Legacy. So a lot of Cole-themed sets and parts went into this build right here, which I'm pretty proud of. And I'm also pretty proud of, the certain details here, such as the chicken legs and the Samurai X-Mech shoulder pads, which I tried my best to get. I think they turned out pretty nicely, especially the legs. Pretty happy with how the legs turned out, especially with those big toes down there too, and also the hands too with those fingers. And we will take a closer look at everything a little bit later on in terms of the back. Not the prettiest from the back. There's a lot of orange shining through the back, but the back was just kind of like thrown together last minute. I really didn't care enough about the back. Maybe I'll go back through and, fix some of those other details. But overall, like I said, this isn't perfect, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I posted this over on my Instagram, and a lot of you guys were asking for instructions. Now, I'm not sure if I could make a whole, step-by-step instructions guide to this thing, because I feel like if I took it apart and tried to rebuild it, I would not be able to rebuild it the same way. My brain just doesn't work like that. But what I will do instead is take you through a few components of this MOC, if you will, individually, just in case you wanted to try to build something similar on your own. We will go through that in more detail right now. So I think the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the head, which the head build, like I said, it's not entirely show accurate, but it's close enough. I like the big black spike on the top. I think that turned out real nice. Also, just the blocky texture in general, that's very earth and rock themed in my opinion, so I kind of like how that looks too. The head isn't the most stable thing out there. The top of the head is literally just attached with two studs, so you can pluck that off pretty easily and scalp him if you want. That looks horrifying. Let's put the top of your head back on there, my friend. Also, the eyes, speaking of horrifying, yeah, they're kind of peering into your soul. I wanted to get the beady little eyes that we saw in the show, and this is the best that I could come up with. Also, I like the bits of orange there too. Kind of looks like the face if you squint. If you squint, you can kind of see what I was going for. Also, we have like some side panels too that kind of look like other forms of rock or, horns or whatever. Kind of looks like a transformer if you squint hard enough. For the back of the head, nothing too fancy. Like I said, the back of this design was kind of like last minute. As I bumped the camera there. So yeah, nothing too crazy going on back here, just a random plate back there. The head is also on a Mixel's ball joint, so you can get a lot of motion out of that. I wanted that in this design, so you can have him look up, look down a little bit, but he kind of hits his chin on Cole's head. Yeah, Cole's in there. You can kind of see the top of his head right there. And yeah, for the most part, the head design, I'm not super upset about. I think it looks close enough. I'm pretty happy with it. The head was actually the first thing that I designed for this MOC, and I feel like it turned out okay. like I said, I'm happy with it. Moving on to the main body. Now, this is another thing that I worked on relatively early. The arms and the legs kind of came later, but the body, I had one goal with the body. I wanted it to fit a Cole minifigure, which it does. You can open this little flap like so, and Cole is just kind of chilling in there. It is the normal Dragon's Rising Cole, but with the Cole RX hands, so the Earth Punch hands. I wanted him to have those because when he activates his powers, that's kind of what he's all about now. And he's in there. It's kind of hard to get him out of there because he's kind of just built into there with the thing. I could probably try to get him out just so you guys can see what's going on behind him, but that's easier said than done. There, I just took his entire upper body off. His legs are still there. But yeah, you can kind of see what I got going on back there. I tried to get enough room for him to sit in there with his full armor. So, yeah, legless Cole. Like I said, it's kind of easier said than done to get him out of there. You kind of got to take off the whole front panel, but that closes up rather nicely and kind of locks in right there. It kind of clips into his mask. You know, it's not supposed to do that, but it kind of does, just based on how it's built. Like I said, these Earth stickers came from the Cole's Earth Dragon Evo set. Same deal with the stickers that you see on the thighs. We'll get to those there momentarily. But in the show, we see the body. It's kind of skinnier towards the waist and kind of bulkier up top. And I think that works out rather well, you know, in completing a few of my goals. One, try to get this thing as accurate as possible, and two, try to get Cole in there. Even though this isn't like a mech per se, I still wanted Cole to be able to sit in there, because why not? It's literally a bunch of rocks forming around him, so I feel like he needs to be in there in some way. So I'm glad I was able to do that. I also like the orange bit right here. This is actually different from the picture that I posted on Instagram. Even between then and now, I'm still finding ways to improve this thing and try to make it more likable to me specifically. So that's what I did there. But yeah, that's what I got going on for the body. I feel like it definitely keeps a lot of those earthy and rocky shapes too, which was another one of my goals in designing this MOC right here. And now moving on to the arms. As you can see, the arms are built up the exact same way. They are symmetrical on either side, just mirrored from each other. So I guess we'll look at this one right here. These arms. So first of all, I wanted to get those Samurai X-Mech shoulder pads, which he kind of has in the show. It's kind of like modeled after the Samurai X-Mech for some reason from Crystallized. But I managed to, I guess, use these pieces to try to pull off that type of look. And also in the show, the upper arms are a lot more skinny compared to the lower arms, which are a lot more beefy and bulky. So I feel like I managed to get that pretty well, I'd say. I wasn't a huge fan of how the shoulder pads attached originally. They're just kind of obviously just pegged on there just like that. And this is all just one assembly right here. So you just clip that on and call it a day, I guess, if it'll go on. There we go. And yeah, for the shoulder pads, I mean, I kind of want to come up with some design where they can move, but for right now, that's what I came up with. The entire arm is built around one of those core joints, the SCCBS joints, just to get that faux elbow in there. It's not like an actual elbow. It's, you know, just a molded in elbow. But I think that works for the design. It kind of fits with what I was trying to do. I also just put some studs in there just so that it, you know, filled up that gap, which I did not like all that much. In terms of the lower part of the arm, yeah, he does have articulated fingers. I wanted him to have like big beefy fingers. Hey, you can make him flip the bird. Aha, look at that. Oh, I should come up with some way to turn the hand around so you can actually, you know, have him flip the bird, because this ain't cutting it. That's a pretty cool shot, though. Take a screenshot of that. Yeah, there you go. But no, you can't turn the hand. It's just static in there. So I feel like that's going to be one of the improvements that I make on this thing when I eventually go back to try to make improvements. I tried to make like one big rock right here. Like this is all just one rock, you know, if that makes sense. I like how you can also see some of the orange energy flowing inside there. And like I said, it's the exact same thing for the other arm too. The arms are built the exact same way. Maybe that's show accurate. Maybe it's asymmetrical in the show. Can't talk for some reason. Can't say for sure, but still, hand and hand. All right, now moving on to the legs. Yeah, the legs are kind of interesting compared to the rest of the body. First of all, I did use some of those Earth Dragon stickers right there to try to, make more lava effects or whatever. One of the biggest aspects of the design from the show, though, in terms of the legs, is the chicken leg, which I did manage to pull off here using a very similar design from the Thunder Raider mech, or Cole's mech that comes in the Thunder Raider Legacy set, because that also has like the chicken leg thing going on. So I pretty much just ripped the design straight from that, adding my own details on there for sure, but it was inspired by that design, but I think it works. I think it works overall. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Again, no real knees. It's kind of like a built-in knee, but there is a ball joint there and a ball joint at the ankle, so you can do whatever you want there. But of course, I like to kind of bend them to try to get that chicken leg design that we see in the show. Also, with the thighs, I tried to build them similarly to the lower arms, or the forearms rather, where they're a little bit more beefy compared to the rest of the leg. The lower legs and the feet, I'm also pretty happy with, especially the feet. In the show, the Earth Golem has 2 toes on each foot. So I managed to recreate that here. And these can articulate, not a whole lot, but they do have some motion if you really wanted to move his little toes around. He does have heels too. Now, the heels I'm not the biggest fan of. I feel like I could have done that a little bit better, but I wanted some stability. The thing kind of has a tendency to fall backwards unless I angle the thing forwards, so the heels kind of help. You can kind of see what that looks like on the bottom there. Yeah, not the most elegant or clean design ever. There also isn't like that much articulation with the foot. I mean, it does have like some posability, sure, because it is on a ball joint, but it's definitely not as clean as I would have liked. So maybe I'll go back through and change that as time goes on. But overall, that's pretty much it for the legs. So yeah, I guess let's just give a general overview now of how I feel about this creation at the end of the day. One thing that I'm not super happy with is the size. This thing might be a little bit too big compared to other characters and other minifigures from the Dragons Rising series. That is the Golem form compared to a normal minifigure, and if we just bring in some other characters from that scene just to kind of make things a little bit more accurate. This is my custom Geo. It's not very good, but I don't have the parts to make an accurate Geo. Those parts don't exist, so this is the best that I could come up with. But when you put everyone together like this, I mean, I feel like the Golem is just a bit too big. But I don't think scaling it down would keep a lot of the same details. I don't think it would look as accurate if you tried to scale it down. So I guess you could say I prioritized accuracy over size and scale. I also wanted, again, the Cole figure to fit inside of it, which, yeah, he's still in there. Hello, Cole. He's just hanging out in there. I wanted Cole to be able to fit in the thing. Like I said, even though it's not necessarily a mech, I wanted that feature, just because it is like a bunch of rocks, surrounding Cole and kind of encapsulating him. So I wanted that, and I think for the most part, I got everything that I wanted. The only thing that I kind of regret is not getting it like to scale with other minifigures, but it's whatever, I suppose. I'm not super bent out of shape about that, because I'm still pretty happy with the design overall, and I feel like if LEGO ever tried to make an official one, I'm not sure if they would have a lot of the same detailing that we saw in the show, but maybe they could come up with something better than this. I would imagine so. They are professional LEGO designers at the end of the day. So I still hope to see an official Cole's Golem set someday, but as of right now, this is good enough for my collection and my display. Again, maybe I'll go through and adjust some things as time goes on. Maybe I'll switch a couple of parts around, or try to clean up the back a little bit more, but all things considered, I'm pretty content with this so far. I think that this is a pretty decent representation, and like I said, it's good enough for me at least. So let me know down below in the comments what you think about this Cole's Golem form. MOC. And yeah, this was one of my first MOCs in quite a few years, so I'm trying to get back into the hobby, and I feel like I could definitely do more builds in the future, depending on, you know, what you guys are interested in seeing. So maybe leave a comment down below. What do you think I should build next? Should I keep on building things, or should I go back to doing other videos? Feel free to let me know, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed this showcase of the Cole's Golem form MOC. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it, and hopefully you guys will try to build your own. By all means, feel free to try to build your own. Sorry I couldn't do like a full-on step-by-step instruction guide, but thank you so much for watching regardless. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.